Good morning, folks. It is week 2 of drones over New Jersey. Is anyone taking this seriously? Well, they assigned the FBI, so apparently not. French government has now collapsed, just like the German government. The UK is starting to go after muffin advertisers, not the stabbing people, but the muffin advertisers and burger advertisers. Yes, Tucker Carlson is in Moscow, and we got major pipelines springing leaks, suspiciously, I might add. We have a report from a grocery manager that shortages, at least in their area, are getting worse, and they tell us what items to expect missing in the near future. Welcome, Watchmen, to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar, and this is the news the mainstream media isn't covering. We are of, for, and by the viewers. Keep watching and share your updates by commenting with the word update somewhere. All right, before we dive in, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirement accounts to get things sorted out, to get into physical metals instead of fake stocks and all these derivatives and all these things. A lot of times, you know, you're not even owning the stock itself. You're owning the promise of stock. Do you know what's in your investment account? If you'd like to talk to Jonathan and his team about what you can do with gold and silver in your account, there'll be a link at the end of the video. Let's start off with these drones. We're not talking about like drones or drones. We're talking about car-sized drones. They can pack quite a wallop. Several weeks now of large drones over New Jersey, and they are continuing. They're flying every day. Some are believed to be the size of a car. FBI investigation ongoing, but no answers, no arrests, and the flights are continuing. As one ex-user posted, I thought this summed up quite well, did I hear that correctly? Hundreds of car-sized drones have been flying over New Jersey every night for 2 weeks straight, and I'm only just now hearing about it. The drones at Lakenheath and Langley, Lakenheath over in the UK, Langley down in Virginia, were also described as car-sized. Absolutely wild. I don't know, friends. I know some people were like, well, that must be UFOs and stuff like that. Well, these apparently are drones. They're showing up on radar, and they've sent up helicopters to follow them. They're relatively slow. They have lights on. But nobody seems to know what's going on, and apparently no one seems to care. What if they were carrying weapons? Nobody seems to care. All right, as I warned you over the weekend, it has now happened. The French government has now collapsed. Marine Le Pen, of basically the conservatives there, pulled out of the coalition, and the left wing, so the left wing and the right wing basically ganged up on the center and collapsed the government. They vastly cleared the necessary hurdle to have a no confidence vote. It is now the shortest government in the history of France. They just came into power over the summer, and they're already out on their behinds. The left wing is now calling for Macron to have an early presidential election. I don't know why they'd want that, but they're not happy with him either. So we now have two of the biggest European governments now in turmoil at once, with Germany as well as France, and the UK is toying with the idea of calling for early elections as well. Would that bode chaos for Europe? Probably, but you know, it's Thursday, and you know how this week's been going. So, all right, so over to the UK, where they're on to very important things like the UK banning daytime TV ads. So you can advertise these things in the evening, but not during the day. What are these dangerous substances? Cereal, muffins, and burgers. Yes, there are people stabbing each other in the UK, but they're focusing in on the cereal and the muffins and burgers. Not even those things, but the advertisers of those things. I'm sure it's very important as well. All right, over to Moscow. Tucker Carlson is in Moscow to interview the Russian foreign minister. You know, I think it's important to hear both sides. Not that we believe one side more than the other, or that we believe them equally or anything like that, but the simple fact is that there should be opportunity to hear both sides so that you can at least understand what's going on. Because whenever you see one side silencing the other, they're usually the bad guys. I know it will shock you, but the people silencing free speech are usually the bad guys. So Tucker Carlson is doing an interview there, but one of the things that he's already disclosed on his X account is that apparently Washington, D.C. has not had any direct communication with Moscow for the past 2 years, and that has been at apparently the decision based in Washington, D.C. They've refused any communications directly with Moscow. They've talked through other entities, they've talked through Ukraine, they've talked through other countries, but they haven't actually had any direct conversations. That seems dangerous when you're on the verge of war, but, you know, okay. Russia's friendship pipeline suddenly sprung a leak in Poland. And no word on the severity of the break, but it did happen in Poland. And after the Nord Stream, and with the fact that they're trying to get off of oil and gas from Russia, they want to focus in on getting that imported from Norway, get it imported from the United States, and cut Russia out completely so that they're not dependent upon Russia anymore. This is suspiciously timed. Also, there have been several credible terrorist threats in eastern Slovakia against the southern length of that pipeline as well. So the northern pipeline goes through Poland up to like Germany and such. That pipeline sprung a leak, and then the southern branch has had several credible threats in Slovakia. Robert says a Walmart in Kenner, Louisiana, only had 1 gallon of milk. This was on December 4th. Larry, no eggs at Costco in Bakersfield, California. We're hearing a bunch of outages of eggs. We're hearing outages of milk. Kevin says Sam's Club, Glendale, Arizona, out of eggs. Six Semper went to Walmart. Virtually every single tool was locked up. Electronics and movies were all locked up as well. You might start getting the feeling that they don't want you in the store. Well, luckily, they've expanded all those parking spaces outside where you can do pickups. Now, I don't know about you, but there's certain things I do not want to do the store pickup for. I don't want to get my produce from the store pickup because they always give you the garbage. That's the truth. I also don't like canned goods coming in through that either because they always give you the dented ones. Those are ones that you definitely need to go pick out yourself, right? But they're locking more and more things up. We were just talking yesterday about deodorant. And here, listen to this one. Raptured in Jacksonville, Florida, where shoplifting is actually a crime. Beach Boulevard Walmart has men's underwear locked up. Okay. I don't even know what to make of that one. I don't know what to make of that one. Is underwear really that expensive? I don't know. Anyway, Harry says, if you get caught shoplifting underwear, you get caught and you're like, no, that's the stuff I'm wearing. You just put some more on or something. I don't know. Harry says, my recent dental visit was bad news. We're talking about this dentist prices going up, and a few of you are like, shame on the dentist. Well, it's not the dentist, okay? Do you know how much insurance these dentists have to pay? It's the fact that so many people have sued dentists and doctors in the United States. That's part of the reason why it's so ridiculous. Doctors, they got the insurance companies over there too, plus the malpractice suits, okay? So they got the malpractice suits and the insurance. Dentists mostly just have the malpractice suits. They don't have as much insurance involved in this. but there's some of that too. But if you want to know why it's so expensive, that's why. It's because so many people have sued them. Harry says, my recent dental visit was bad news. Almost $10,000 for the work needed. I have a dentist in Mexico I have used in the past. Their estimate was $4,000. I made an appointment. Now listen, before you're like, Steve, that's just really kind of, listen. I made an appointment and their new in-person estimate, so they got an estimate of $4,000, went down there, got an estimate of $2,300 for what was going to be $10,000. I'm going back for another appointment that will cost me an additional $600. The dentist that owns the practice is U.S. trained and also taught dentistry in a major U.S. college. So that's the kind of thing. I mean, you get to shop for your doctors. If you don't want bottom-of-the-barrel doctors, you don't have to hire bottom-of-the-barrel doctors. You can choose whichever doctors you want. And you can get some really good doctors that have, for whatever reason, want to live in those other countries where it's a lot cheaper and have a lot less taxes and they have a lot less lawsuits. Go figure why. The office has modern equipment and is very clean. Most of the patients are Canadian, American, or well-to-do Mexicans. The money I save, I have a nice vacation and I'm still ahead. So that's why people are doing medical tourism. I mean, it's working for a lot of people. Yeah, you got to do your homework. You know, there's going to be some that are not as good as others. But you can pick some really good ones out for really cheap, comparatively. Niagara Adventure says, here in southern Ontario, Canada, or the 51st state of the U.S., right? We have been frequently having our major cable TV company, Cogeco, it's like Gecko, but not as cool. The company has been having outages due to vandalism for the last year. Someone is cutting the main lines. But no one seems to be questioning this. They're just brushing it off as another outage. So they have actual vandalism of people cutting the internet lines, and nobody seems to be investigating that because of their skin color. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Jackie says, no milk of any kind in the Sarasota Walmart unless you wanted to spend double the price for Fairlife extra expensive variety. Very little creamers or even eggnog, strange at this time of year. Thanks, Steve, for all you do. If it were not for you, we would not be in the know. All right, Terry says, I live in North County, San Diego, and spoke to another store employee higher up in the food chain, and shortages are getting worse, at least in my area, for rice, dried beans, and canned beans. That's not good because that's the stuff you need to get really stocked up, right? The employee pointed out to me that the cans are being spread out to make it look like there are more of them than there are. Some of the dried bean spaces have been filled over with more of the same kind of bean because they cannot get other kinds of beans. I was told if some major news is incoming that they will let me know. The other store I heard from was a major store you would all know. Same thing, especially the canned beans. All right, friends, that's what we're hearing out there. Please do keep your reports coming in. Just post your comment on this video or on any video on this channel. Make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. Please reserve the update word for updates. Appreciate all of you guys contributing to that. If you want to find out more about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link to Genesis Gold there. Just fill out the form and they will send you information. There's no obligation or whatever to move forward with them, but they'll be able to answer your questions. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.